Hello again, and I thought this time I would give you a little tour of the rubber rockery, naming all the varieties that I've put in the tyres. So we're going to kick off with little Tsugaru Komachi, flowering its head off there. And then I've got Kasuji. That got quite nibbled, so I'm quite pleased that the leaves have grown back after I had to take quite a few off. And then we've got a stunner called Old Glory. In fact, that looks better and better as the year goes on. And it has the most incredible flowers. Look at that. And I don't know, let's see if I can get in there. They're not actually, well, I suppose you could say they were stripy. But, oh, they're just really big. And quite a statement on top of the plant. They're actually slightly darker on the sport of Old Glory, Beyond Glory, which is nice because Beyond Glory has a much darker and broader margin to it, so they're quite distinctly different. That's lovely, nice little bonus. And then we've got Blue Monday. That's doing very well. And alongside that I've got Dress Blues. And at the back I've got Sky Dancer. It's getting slightly bleached where it is. I'm yet to work out the pattern of how the sun breaks through and affects each of the tyres. So I might have to shift a few about, but we'll see. And then I've got Hands Up, which I didn't expect to survive, but it's looking really quite healthy and doing its thing. And then coming round, I've got Volcano Island. And this is lovely. In the sales tunnels, which are poly covered, they've actually gone quite dark. So considering this is in quite a bit of shade, it's kept its colour absolutely beautifully. Then I've got Lakeside Blue Cherub. It's a dear little one. That's great for a hanging basket. Above them all I've got Celtic Uplands, which is one that several of you asked about. What's the one in the tyre with the really red stems? Well, there we have it. It's Celtic Uplands. And the sun's not shining at the moment, but you can imagine if the sun was shining, how bright that would look. Beautiful. And then I've got at the front, I've got a dear little one called Yin. That really is a good grower. Small plant, but excellent grower. And then I've got Ecstasy, which I would have said is quite a dainty little thing, but again, it's doing well in the tyre. Then I've got Olympic Edger. And Crystal Dixie. I do like this. I love the sheen on the leaf. It's a lovely plant, that one. And behind a very old variety called Blonde Elf. But I adore that. It has almost like a whitish edge to it. It's like what they call a hyacinthina effect. So the colour of the underside of the leaf you can just about see as a margin. Then I have Deja Blue, in probably a little bit too much light for the blue to really show. Then Golden Tiara, and that's doing some flowering at the moment. Oh, the sun's just come out and saturating everything, but never mind, we'll persist. And then I have Quill. That is lovely when it starts to get all more mature, should I say, all fluffy I was going to say. And it's putting some little ones up at the bottom there. And then I've got Red Cadet, which is one of the plants that I've put in the hanging baskets. And if I just zoom in here, you can see you might be able to see the red stem. As I say, the sun has come out and it's now a little bit saturated. And then we have Pineapple Upside Down Cake. It's about the only one I'd say is not doing particularly well, but again, I think some of it might have got slightly undermined because the soil might have fallen through a little bit and a little bit dry. Then behind I have a Beaker Trumpet. And that's another variety I rather like. I love the texture and the shape of the leaf on that. It's very pretty. And then another one that's not doing as well as I thought it might is called Libby. Now it's supposed to be a medium Libby, but again, I guess it's possibly too much light here along with Pineapple Upside Down Cake. That's better. The sun's gone in. And then I have Totally Twisted. That hasn't got a label on it because I only asked for 50 labels. So I thought, no, I should always be able to recognise Totally Twisted with those beautiful pink petioles. So look at a beaker trumpet again in the shade. That is so pretty. Then behind I've got a drummer boy I rescued from my front garden. And then Gold Drop. That's lovely. I do like Gold Drop. Again, an old variety, but really good for hanging baskets. And then I have Undulata, throwing up a beautiful tall flower spike. Behind Undulata I have 2 leaves of Morning Dove. There were several, but a snail visited. We found the snail and have dispatched it. Otherwise the plant was doing really, really well. You can see where I've chopped all the leaves off because they were looking a little bit sorry for themselves. And then at the back there I've got Golden Spider. Another lovely little plant. Well, it's not that little, it's actually got quite a decent spread on it. And then I've got the handsome Nigrescens in the big tractor tyre. One of the few more mature plants I planted in here. I just put more mature ones in the large tyres so that they wouldn't get too agoraphobic and do their thing. And down in front of Nigrescens I've got Purple Haze, which is kind of losing its haze a little bit as the season goes on, but the purple, or I suppose it's a smoky purple really, goes up the stem and into the base of the leaf, and it also goes along the leaf tips. I don't think you can see it on the underside, oh, just faintly see it on the underside of the leaf tips. And then we have Glass Hearts, another dear little one that frankly has got such a fine root system. I wondered if that would work in here, and it's worked fine. A good old favourite here, Tango. That's looking lovely. And then I've got Spring Break. I put Spring Break in because it has that colouring the whole season. It's such a bright, cheery looking plant. And then I have Amy Elizabeth, probably in 2 slightly bigger tyre, but we'll see. And in front of Amy I've got Abby. They're related to each other, they're just opposite colouring. Then I've got Lakeside Spruce Goose, which has got a lovely sheen to the leaf, and again that's a lovely one for hanging baskets or indeed tyres. Then we have Mrs. Minky, a plant I use a lot, especially in displays, for that lovely shaped leaf and its waterfall effect. It's a great edger, or if you've got a pot you don't particularly like the look of, put something like that in it and all of a sudden you won't see the pot. And then another, well, this wasn't mature, this was an offshoot of a parent plant. This is Regalia, and it's completely gorgeous. It was one Dad was really, really struck on. It's a variegated form of Crosser Eagle with a dark margin and a paler centre, and it's lovely. We've popped one in Pop's Patch to go with the other plants that he loved so much. And then we have Gumdrop, related to Gold Drop, and I've got a Gumdrop in one of the hanging baskets as well. And then we have Vanilla Cream, nice shaped leaf that. And Dewar, which is very much like Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, but it has a slightly narrower margin and keeps its colour slightly longer than Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, which I've got one of just around in another tyre in a moment. Then I have Shimmy Shake. I love that. You'll notice a theme with the plants that I like. They tend to be plain leaved with lovely rippled edges and a nice fountain shape. Oh, and just point out, I've got some Astrantia. Trying to remember what the name of the... Jill Richardson, that's the name of it. I've planted several of them around the tyres because apparently snails don't like the smell of Astrantia, and it worked quite well in my garden, so I thought, let's give it a go here. Then we got Dorset Charm, and round to Quilting Bee. Love that plant, it's great. It's like a dark green version of a beaker trumpet. And I've got Heuchera Lime Ricky. Dead chuffed with that. I won that in a draw at a local village quiz night. I was hoping nobody would pick that up because I thought it was such a lovely plant. And of course everybody went for the chocolates and the wine and I went for the plant. And then we've got Arctic Blast doing its flowery bit. Really tall scapes and flower heads to that plant. Absolutely stunning. And then in front I've got Lakeside Nanita. And then as promised I've got Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. Which, because now the sun's come out, you can't see it quite so much. Quite so well. Stand. I can't create the shade. But as you can see, it's gone. The margins have gone. Just about to see much more green now. So it loses its gold margin from the spring. At the back, I have my Summer Substance from my front garden, rescued, because every year, without fail, it was munched. So I thought, no, I'm fed up with you being a sacrificial hostie, you can come here and see how you fare. Then Mary Marie Ann, another one that I thought might be a little bit tricksy to grow, but it seems to be holding its own. And then another of the Gold Drop series, this is Gold Edge of Surprise, and that has the faintest of margins to it. I think it's so neat. I love that. In the top tire, that's my Niagara Falls from my garden, which got a little stunted and a little undermined because the soil was falling through and something was burrowing underneath. So poor little thing, it's still going. The root system's absolutely fine, it's just a bit stunted. So hopefully next year that'll be looking better. Then we have Vernagine, which is a nice little bright one. Then Goldbrook Grayling. Radiant Edger. And Cherub. And that sums up all the plants, all the hostas that I've put in the rubber rockery. It's rather a nice day. I thought it was going to be too windy around here to do a video, but it's proven okay. And I popped a Tetrapanax at the back here. Again, a bit of an experiment because it needs more sun for the leaf, but needs its roots in the shade. So we'll see how it goes, and it seems to be enjoying it where it is. I thought that'd be a lovely backdrop, the other shrubs and things for the rubber rockery. There you go, it's looking good, isn't it? Bye for now.